Hey there and welcome back to the History of Fleetwood Mac. I'm Anita. Today we're going to do part 2 of the Mirage LPs. And I kept everything the same. I probably could have gotten everything in one video, but I tried to make them a little bit shorter, as I've mentioned time and time again, and wanted to get the singles out, the little bit of Belladonna in closing, and then just focus on the few Mirage LPs. Also want to give myself a little bit of breathing room because I might start waxing nostalgic about Mirage. I freaking love this album. This was definitely one of my favorites. Also, really the high point for me of getting into Fleetwood Mac. As we know, and I spoke about with the 45 singles. The Gypsy video, the Hold Me video was out. I was becoming aware of Stevie Nicks being part of Fleetwood Mac because shortly after Mirage came out, Wild Heart came out, so there's a Stand Back video. So this just was really a whole time, and not only do I love the album, but in my photographs and scrapbook and stuff like that, this is a highlight for me of my photos and the time for Stevie, her look, her persona. Unfortunately, not the best time for Stevie, having lost Robin, going on tour, that whole bit of nonsense, which I feel really bad when I love something so much that somebody's kind of lower point. Kind of also the way I feel about Street Angel. But, still a great album. Fleetwood Mac were coming off of not only Tusk and the live album, but this was back to the studio. A perfect little combination, if you ask me, of Mirage and Tusk, because apologies, Rumors and Tusk, because Rumors we had the full pop thing going on, and just absolutely 100% made for radio play, and Tusk we had the little avant-garde and Lindsay trying different things. Mirage I think kind of brings those things together, and we still have the radio play. But then we have some little quirky things like Empire State, Eyes of the World. Stevie's songs on here are just knockouts. I mean, not only is Gypsy great, but That's Alright with that little country tinge, and Straight Back, which is definitely a high point, I think, in her catalog. And then, of course, all of Christine's are just absolutely beautiful. Wish You Were Here. And I'm really fond of Love in Store. But starting off with the LPs, and again, like I said, I'm probably going to go off on that a couple times. This is the only US version that I have, which was the Quix, I think is how you say it, QUIEX2 limited edition pressing, and this happens to also be a promo. Supposedly, when albums were coming out, as we well know now with the Resurgence albums and all this 180 grain grand vinyl and mobile fidelity and hi-fi and studio pressings at 45 RPM 2LP and all that fancy stuff. This was a pretty big deal back in 1982. This would have been probably a $50 album at the time, because of how it's recorded, supposedly. I don't find this especially fancy or better than any of the others, but it is supposed to be a better sound. I think it does have a... Nope. It does not have a different insert like another one I had shown prior. Just a regular album, and also on the album it doesn't say anything about being the limited edition pressing, so I'm not sure. Usually there's an insert to tell you what it is, and I definitely know it's sound. I just don't remember, what the sound difference is. So, yeah, that is my US version of Mirage. Everything else is foreign. I need to find just a regular US, copy. But Mirage I'll always pick up, obviously, and all these obviously I have. And I have like the USA re-releases, which we'll get to at the very end, but for the 1982 release, this is the first one. So there's that. Next up we have Canada, which again is, I believe, yes, like I'd shown you on a couple others, we have the maple leaf on the back. Label isn't much different. slight differences on, actually no, just some maple leaf. And a little bit of stuff down here is a little extra. Next up, we have Mexico. This one is kind of interesting to me. This is one of the finer albums, packaging, I should say, from Mexico. It has it's a one page instead of the sleeve. The album itself came in a paper sleeve, but I thought it was unusual to just be this page, because as you know, this is for the American and Canadian and all other ones. This is the sleeve that the album is in, but instead this is just a piece of paper. It says here made in USA, but this number is for the copy from Mexico, the catalog number. I don't know why it's got this hole punch all the way through it, but it matches all the way through to the paper inside. Usually in America that would be discounted albums. But the reason I say it's kind of stands apart is because it's very well made. If you notice in some of the other ones I've told you, it's kind of flimsy material. This one has as durable and thick a material as the other album covers from Canada or the USA or Japan. It has all the context down here of being from Mexico. And it's also interesting to have the titles in Spanish before English, or at all, because a lot of times they'll just keep it in English no matter what country it's from. So that's just kind of an interesting little part there. But I've shown you some other albums from Mexico, and like I said, they're real flimsy, or kind of like the ones from the Orient where it's just wrapped in saran wrap or something. And this one is just, you know, I guess fully licensed, or they went a little bit out more, and I'm not really sure. Or Mexico by 82 had their own printing plant. It's hard to say. But just like the back cover with the titles in Spanish first. And I've actually never played this one. I'll do that as well and see how the sound is. To be honest with you, also, the vinyl feels a little bit heavier than normal. It's a little worse for wear. It's got some scratches here and there, but it's still a very good shape piece here. So that one kind of stood out for me. This was the paper sleeve it came in. Earlier, I'd misplaced some of my records I put away from last time. I put backwards. So this one, I don't know why. Something about this one. I had to put it back together, so I apologize. This one here we have coming out of, these two are actually from Germany. And this one is really strange to me because which is it here? The backs are exactly the same. Everything here, it says, whereabouts is it? Actually, no, they're not the same. This one has all the information here, made in Germany. This one is from Germany, but it does not have that part. But what's weird about, the only difference is the label. Label has that, you know, I keep calling it the oatmeal, like when I was doing with all the singles, talking about that kind of just plain. There's slight lines going through it, but the label on this German copy has all the gamma and this little point down here. So slight differences, but both from Germany. So I'm going to guess that, again, at different times. One was released possibly, you know, right in 81 or 82, sorry. And then another one came out, you know, second pressing or something. But yeah, those are both my German copies. Bit different. And then we have Let me fix that. This is UK. This one here was nothing on the back. See, I did have, I knew I had something out of order that I had to put back. I am sorry. And I'm not going to start the video again for the error. This is the UK. That's what it is. UK standard label. But then we have the Germany ones. And again, I told you everything here for Germany. And then this one as well. Same thing. But the labels we have, again, I'll go back to saying it, kind of the oatmeal part here. Then this one came in a very fancy static sleeve, which I brought up before. And this one has a clearly different label. Has the Warner Brother with the little watermark Warner Brothers in the back. So this one, I'm guessing, one is straight up from 1982 and one is a second pressing, or East and West. It's hard to say. Although with some of the 45s that I have, there were 45s that would say East or West Germany. So, and then I think I had like one that said that, which is kind of obviously significant for the time. So that one was kind of strange to me. But everything else with the packaging completely matches up, all the printing on the back and stuff. So those are my German issued records. Next up we have Japan. You know how much I love to talk about the Japan ones. They're my favorites. With this, at the time, super beautiful shot. I've since found this as a promo photo, and of course others. But boy, I remember getting this, you know, early on and this being like, what? Where did this picture come from? And this is a Lindsay solo picture. And this, I think, is a Christine picture from, it could be from Mirage, but I think something similar was used around Tusk time. But it's so silly. But again, something about Japan, you know, the obi strips, everything. But then also there'd be something new a lot of times with Japanese pressings. As I brought up before, it's just, they're just always the best. So nice, clean copy with the obi, the regular sleeve, just like the American copies. But then we have the insert. No photos on this one, unfortunately. And actually, which is also unusual, all the lyrics, well, obviously, except this part, but the lyrics are in Japanese on this one. And since this looks like lyric breakdowns, I'm going to guess that this whole front side is just a little write-up about them. Maybe one day I'll scan these in and have, like, Google do a translation. That'd be a fun video. For all the years that I've had them, I've assumed that all these little parts are write-ups. I don't believe them to be the thank yous and the, you know, anything like that, because you would see names. Usually they'll leave names in English. So I'm confident that, you know, it's just some kind of write-up about the band. And it'd be interesting to have those, be able to read those. So, translated is the big word I was looking for. Next up, we have the box set. The 3 CD, DVD, and LP. So it was one LP. The DVD was I don't remember what the DVD was. Oh, the DVD was the HBO special, which there was the Belladonna HBO special and the Mirage HBO special. I don't think the Mirage one specifically was cut for HBO, whereas the Belladonna, I'm pretty sure was. But it was a big deal because those were popping on HBO. I mean, anybody who had HBO at the time, A, you felt like you were wealthy AF, and B, if you had your little HBO guide and you were getting the pictures, cutting the pictures of Stevie out from the Belladonna special or the Mirage, you know what I'm talking about. If you were there, you know. So this is again the original of the LP, the DVD of the HBO Mirage tour, a DVD of the album in surround sound. So no, the DVD is not the. Maybe I should pay attention when I buy these things. The DVD is not the concert. It's just the audio. So there's the CD of the concert. The DVD is the 5.1 surround mix, and it's inclusive of cool water, which is kind of nice. And then CD2 is the outtakes, and but boy howdy, the outtakes on this are phenomenal. This, I don't know, this and Tango maybe are my absolute favorites of CD outtakes. I mean, there's some really good ones on Tusk and Rumors, but the outtakes and the B sides and the songs that weren't on this is a must. If you're a fan, of course, but I really like this album a lot, so I think that's why it's so special to me. But and then I think, if I'm not mistaken, we got an alternate version of Mirage on vinyl, so that was pretty cool. So if you didn't want to, or if you wanted to play it at home on your stereo, so we got the alternate version. So that's what would have been on CD on the box set, but then we got the companion album version for Record Store Day. A lot of people get kind of pissy about that for Record Store Day because, you just pay all the money for the box set, and then usually that same year or the following, it's issued like this. I like it because I collect vinyl. I'm a gotta have them all kind of person, but I would like to listen to some of these things on vinyl specifically. Of course, you listen to it more often in your car or streaming if you're that kind of person. But I don't mind when it's something like this on vinyl, because that's the only way you're going to get it, is if they release it for Record Store Day. If they're releasing the same thing over and over, like Mirage, just the album itself, not the B-sides or something, that's where it gets a little annoying. But the alternate versions being released for Record Store Day doesn't bother me quite as much. It looks like I have 2 copies. Yep. Because I love this album so much. So one is sealed and one is open. One is to keep, one is to play. I've had to sell some of my copies, but I think this one will probably be a not for sale type thing. So, and that one came out in 2017. I'm not sure what year this one came out, but somewhat recently. And this was the Walmart version. I think this one I kept sealed. Nope, I did not. So let's have a look at this. Beautiful color. Kind of goes with the album, like I talked about in the past, of not matching. It kind of matches Stevie's outfit here. Now I don't remember if this came out after the box set with all the colored vinyl or not. It doesn't matter. I mean, I liked having them individually and in the box set, because if I've mentioned before, if it comes out individually, then it stands alone. But if it's supposed to be in a box set, I wouldn't take it out and consider it individual, if that makes any sense. So I think that the box set had come out, was issued by Warner Brother, and then I think they gave license to Walmart, who made an exclusive, and we're releasing these individually. And pretty much the only damn thing that's going to make it exclusive and different is that stupid little sticker on the front. Pretty much sure that's how it's working. So, because I don't believe, I could be wrong, but I don't believe that Walmart has its own pressing plant. They release a lot, but I'm pretty sure they just kind of ride on the coattails of licensing permissions, and then just, have everything that didn't sell or be put into the box sets sent over to Walmart. They create the sticker and pop those out as Walmart exclusives, and the same for Target. I think that's how those are acquired. So that would be the Walmart version. Ironically, Target did not have this. Target only had a If I'm not mistaken, Target had the Fleetwood Mac Rumors album gold vinyl, and when it was released in the box that was colored vinyl, I don't believe it was in gold. I should double check that, but I'm pretty sure that that's the only time Target made their copy. Usually Target and Walmart will both have copies at the same time. Sometimes, as will Barnes and Noble, H&M, as we've talked about in the past. But I believe it was only Walmart that released these separately. So we're going to close off this video with a really unique Mirage bootleg. This one, it says it was printed in 1986 in Belgium, but I keep it with my Mirage stuff because it's the Mirage Tour. And again, I believe it to be the HBO special. Those are the songs on it. And this has been out, I mean, since 86. I've seen several of these. I had never had these. I either bought or was gifted this by a friend I had in overseas, and she's a really great friend, and I'm so grateful to get this from her, have gotten this from her, and I kind of keep that as a good memory. And it sounds really good. It's a very good sounding bootleg, and which also makes me think it is 100% the HBO special and not another show, because you get a good transfer quality. And the labels, I put the little stickers on there to tell myself which record was which, because there's absolutely nothing on the labels, and also what songs are through. So yeah, so on each side I have it written down, because each side only has like one to three songs per. So, but that was a neat find, and anytime I've ever seen this specific bootleg, well, let me rephrase that. Anytime I've seen this bootleg, it's always this cover, front and back, and it seems to be one of the only ones, if not the only one, of the HBO special that I've ever seen in circulation. Not to say that there isn't, not to say that people haven't made their own with different covers, but this one I've seen quite a few times, either on eBay or it might be listed on Discogs, but again, even if it's listed, they shut it down for commentary or anything. You can't buy, you can't sell. You can add it to your collection, but since it's unofficial, they can't, again, support it. So, but it is on Discogs. So, as a reference here, nice picture, Stevie, too, both sides. So that will wrap it up for Mirage. Even despite all my errors and tripping over my words, I didn't go too long, which is really kind of weird, because again, I love to talk about Mirage. But next up, we'll be going into, I think, the Wild Heart. There's some Mick Fleetwood stuff that will preface that, and there's quite a bit of Wild Heart. So again, it might be 2 videos. We'll just have to see. But thank you so much for joining me, and hope you have a good night. We'll see you next time. Bye.